newly built properties have seen an increase in volume over the more recent years, certainly as sort of demand for housing has increased on the back end of us coming out of this sort of credit crisis. Because of this, a lot of contractors are looking for newly built properties and mortgages on that basis as well. And this is certainly an area we can help you out with. We can even help you out with new built properties that have yet to be completed, also known as off-plan developments. However, with new builds, you do have to be a bit more wary and a little bit more aware of some of the added extra information lenders may require, and just generally some of the requirements around new builds. Ultimately, the deposit is one of the main things with lenders, whether you're a contractor or not. Lenders will require a higher deposit in most of these situations. I guess the reason being, with a newly built property, it doesn't have the history of being sold and bought by previous owners. In some scenarios, the developers and builders may be overinflating the asking price from the start as well to a certain degree. So because of this, the lenders may require a higher deposit to negate that risk. Ultimately, you'd be looking at potentially a deposit of 15% as a minimum, if not 20% with some of the lenders. You might find that when you're talking to the developers and the builders at the sites and the sort of sales agents, they may be encouraging you to discuss your mortgage options with their in-house mortgage broker and advisor. One thing to bear in mind with this is that this is your choice. It's your prerogative who you choose to use for your mortgage advice. And at the end of the day as well, bearing in mind your contractor status, if you are choosing to discuss your mortgage options with a non-specialist, there are certain issues and problems you could face either at the very beginning or potentially later on in the process when they're trying to, of course, place you with the most appropriate lender. Speaking with a specialist contractor broker such as ourselves will ensure that from the start your circumstances and situation is looked at in the right way, first and foremost as a contractor, ensuring your income is considered in the right way by the lenders, but secondly because you are looking at a newly built property and the associated heightened risks around that as well. So we can certainly help you out with new builds, but there's just a couple of other things to be aware of and mindful of when looking at those.